The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small, and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family, and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast. Welcome to the Culture Cast. I'm Chris Stachiw, and I'm joined once again by my good friend, Detroit, Michigan's own, Mike White.
I want to go to the hotel.
I want to understand the movie. Boy, it's still Mike White March. We're still here talking movies in March. For some of us, March has felt like a year. For some of us, days have felt like a year. Hours feel like days feel like years, and weeks feel like centuries. But we're still here. It's still March. We're still talking about foreign sci-fi films with our latest film. This one is a French film. It's called Bunker Palace Hôtel.
Very nice pronunciation of hotel,
Is that the way you're supposed to pronounce it?
Yeah, I like it.
I assume it's the same way you pronounce haute cuisine, because it has the tent over the O.
Right.
So the film is directed by Enki Bilal, written by Enki Bilal and Pierre Christin. It stars Jean-Louis Trintignant, Carole, Bouquet, Maria...
Trintignant.
Trintignant?
Mr. Trigonometry, please report to the principal's office.
This is Trigonometry Ross. How did you say it again?
Trintignant.
It stars Jean-Louis Trintignant, Carole Bouquet, Maria Schneider. Let's just go with Schneider. Roger Dumas. It is a film set in a bunker, obviously, the Bunker Palace Hotel, where all the rich people are after a rebellion has broken out. Again, Mike, you really know how to pick uplifting films, especially in the current geopolitical, socioeconomic climate.
Yeah, if only it was not a rebellion outside, but some sort of a pandemic.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's something outside, as they would say. Before we talk about the film, I want to know, and I've asked you this every time, we've done Mike White March, which is 3 years now. Why did you pick Bunker Palace Hôtel?
Kind of the same reason I've been saying for the other episodes, which is this has been on my watch list for a long damn time, and this finally prompted me to watch this. I tried also watching a couple other films by the same director. He gets more and more effects heavy as he goes along, especially what is it called? Immortal?
Immortal?
Immortal.
It looks really weird, just the poster for the film.
Yeah, and it's very much like all created inside of a computer. It was like, I think it was around the time of like Final Fantasy, and so when people were just like, "Oh, James Cameron created the whole world of Avatar in a computer," I'm like, they've done that quite a few times now, right?
But it's not James Cameron. How dare you say such a thing?
I know. I don't want to besmirch his name.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Just looking at the art and like the screen grabs for Immortal, I can tell you that movie either looks like a massive mess or a massive mess or an effects-driven nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Well, it makes sense because he is a comic book either artist or writer, the director, and then he works with other comics folks, including the co-writer of Bunker Palace Hôtel, which is the same guy who came up with that horrible
Valerian,
movie.
the city of 1,000 planets.
Yeah.
Valerian is. Have you seen it?
Oh God, yes! Did I ever?
It is just. It's not even a fun bad movie.
No.
It is 2 cardboard cutouts pretending to act, and then CGI backdrops.
I couldn't believe the backwards thinking when it came to like just the portrayal of the female character, that she's worried about breaking a nail through so much of the movie, and I'm like, what year is this? How are we doing this now?
It's the year of the future. But women are still women, so there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Heaven forbid we write female characters any more interesting.
Bad stuff. But also,
that movie is not good.
The guy who wrote the Valerian comic book, and I should say that he wrote the comic book, he didn't necessarily write the movie.
Right, source material.
Right, but he also did write the movie of Hard to Be a God, the early German version of that, not the 2013 Alexei... Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, this was the 85 version of Hard to Be a God, and which is actually pretty good, pretty cheesy as well, but I like that movie quite a bit. And that was adaptation of the Strugatsky brothers, and Strugatsky worked on Letters from a Dead Man as well as some other works by Lupushinsky. So, tying it all back together, Chris.
It's all tied back together. Even on IMDb, under the More Like This, Dead Man's Letters shows up.
Interesting.
It is interesting because this movie is nothing like Dead Man's Letters.
No.
This movie is nothing like last week's film either, which was Dead Man's Letters. But this film is also nothing like any of the films we watched this month. I guess it's kind of close to Obi Oba.
Yeah, I can see that.
But that's it, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it takes a while to get going. There's not that much story to it.
As I say, not much happens even once it gets going.
Right.
There's like sex robots, and it's also reminded me of Secret of Steel City because you have a character pretending to be another character.
Mm-hmm.
And like disguising himself. And I tell you what, I honestly had no idea what happened at the end of this movie. And I watched the movie 2 times.
It did remind me of Obi Oba because you've got the characters being doubled at the end. Because that looked like Trintignant in the back of the vehicle as well as driving the vehicle. And then we saw him get shot right in the head, and he had like springs and stuff coming out of his head, which makes sense that he was a robot the whole time because he's constantly messing with the other robots in the Bunker Palace Hotel.
But you don't know he's a robot until the end.
No, correct.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For JD Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
It's a little Westworldy. Because that's what I've been watching recently. Is a lot of
As long as it's not Westworld Season 2, we're okay.
I like Westworld Season 2.
Oh.
I do understand why people don't like it. Because it kind of gets in its own head. It gets in its own head.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. It goes full Lost towards the end of Season 2. I will say that much.
Ouch.
Why it goes full, like, we're just going to start throwing things out there and maybe we'll come back to it. It's like you can't throw ideas out there just because they sound interesting. So, but yeah, there's that whole thing in this movie where it's like they're robots and then one of the main characters ends up being a robot who you didn't realize was a robot the entire time.
Who also seems to be wanting to kill pretty much everybody there because there's a what would you call it? Like an underground vehicle, like something that the mole men would drive, shows up at one point and it's got a bomb in it. And then when you look back at the beginning of the movie, that same thing is there. A little model of it is in Trintignant's office. And so it's like, okay, well, he did it. And plus his name is literally on the machine when it comes through the wall.
What I didn't understand is, does everyone else realize he's a robot?
I don't think so until we do.
And what I didn't understand is, just skipping to the end here, did they all get blown up?
I think so. It feels like he's more the leader of the rebels than the rebels are. Because there are people, there's the one redheaded woman who infiltrates all of these rich people. And it seems like she's going to be the one to try to take them out. But then he ends up actually taking them all out and driving away safely at the end.
And we were actually talking a little bit about James Bond before we got on this podcast. Carole Bouquet, a James Bond girl.
Did not know that.
She played Melina Havelock in For Your Eyes Only.
Oh.
Yeah, one of the Roger Moore ones. Yeah, so she also a Bond girl. I knew she looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. And I was looking her up, before we did the podcast, and I mean, look, for me, 70s and 80s James Bond films are all kind of a blur, especially Roger Moore movies. But I knew she looked familiar. I just didn't realize that she was like a main Bond girl in one of the films. So, but she's fantastic in the movie. She's not given a whole lot to do other than just kind of stand around and react to Trintignant's character, who's just being weird the entire time. Mm-hmm. I guess we should have picked up on the fact that he was a robot. Because he's being weird. Like, did it surprise you that he was a robot at the end?
Not really. I was just like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Because it got me. So I guess I was just, I don't know. I'm not going to say I wasn't paying attention because I was watching the movie and giving it my attention. I guess I guess here's the thing I didn't understand. There are clearly characters in this film, like the larger woman, who is clearly a robot. But what I didn't understand is the hotel desk clerk. I didn't understand if he was a robot or like an augmented human.
I think he's a robot and there's something wrong with his vocal patterns because of the way that he speaks. Right,
and now I'm realizing that, seeing as Trintignant is a robot, total robot. But I didn't, and again, that's the film being a film that doesn't need to or feel necessarily that it has to explain everything. I didn't realize that there was just either you're human or a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just didn't think that any one of these people could be a robot. like one of the characters who's clearly not a robot could be a robot.
Right. Well, since he is acting so different from the other robots, though he is acting odd.
Yeah, he's not breaking a dude's dick or asking if someone wants condoms and shots over and over again.
Right. And it's the same woman who just throws on a black wig and is playing a second robot, correct?
Was it not
I think so.
supposed to just be the same robot, but her hair could change?
I thought that there were two robots. One was blonde and one was brunette.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, either interpretation, right? But, we never see them not together, so I guess that's probably right.
Right. And I didn't think the brunette did the
Darth Vader
thing.
breathing.
Yeah.
What did you think of the film? Finally sitting down and watching it.
It wasn't everything that I wanted it to be. It definitely could have used more to it because it just felt like it was kind of thin to be stretched over an hour and a half. Like it needed something else to it. Like it just took them, it takes them almost 20 minutes just to even all get into the hotel and to get the whole movie rolling. Whereas I think they probably should have set that up within the first 5 minutes and had some sort of a plot twist around 30 minutes to push us into the second act of the film. I
mean, to be fair, I think outside of Dead Man's Letters, I would say that criticism could be leveled against every film we've watched this month. Is that it takes an inordinately long amount of time to get where it needs to go for the quote-unquote plot to get going. I mean, there's characters at the beginning of this film in the first 15 minutes that just die.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, we're not following these characters anymore?
Yeah, that guy who kind of reminds me of Julian Sands, that blonde dude. I was like, oh, he's going to be our main... Oh, he's dead.
He's just shot, boom, dead. Literally just shot. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You just Janet Lead the character I thought was going to be the one who's the main one. I mean, it's fine. I mean, Carole Bouquet does a fantastic job with what she's given. But, and I think here's the other thing. Yes, there are robots. Yes, it is the quote-unquote dystopian future. I would say, similarly to Secret of Steel City, this is barely sci-fi. Right?
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, not complaining, not criticizing you for picking it, but it's sci-fi in a very broad term. Right? Yeah, there's robots. Yeah, it's the future, but...
Right. A lot of the movie reminded me of another movie. It reminded me of a film called Chosen Survivors, where it's, hey, there's going to be a nuclear war, and all of these chosen survivors, kind of like that Designated Survivor show, but chosen survivors are taken and put into this bunker, and then they find out what the real conflict of the movie. They find out that, they built this bunker on top of a cave, and the cave system has all of these bats, and the bats are trying to break in and kill all the people that are in there, like the last hope for humanity.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output, and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24-related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
And just that the last hope for humanity, some of them are kind of awful people. And I don't necessarily get that with this. It feels like everybody who's in the bunker, other than the one female character, are awful people, but they kind of should be worse. You know, they need to be really despicable. They should be the bourgeois elites who have sequestered themselves in this underground palace and don't give a shit about anybody in the above ground world.
Well, and they also let Carole Bouquet's character just stay there.
Right.
Like, that, if this were real, that would not be the case.
Mm-hmm.
They would kick her out. Right? Like, they wouldn't want her there to consume any extra resources that could be allocated to them.
Right.
But yet they're just like, whatever. So, and that's why Trintignant's character is, again, a robot. So I guess he is the ultimate say whether or not she's there.
I guess so. And also, like I said, it seems like he is their enemy, even though he's hiding that he's their enemy. I mean, Jean-Pierre Léaud's character, who just kind of sulks around, and I think he eventually drowns in the swimming pool. Oh, he freezes to death. That's what it is, in the pool. Again, going back to Steel City and all those frozen bodies. But I kept waiting for him to do more because I like him a lot. I mean, I like all these actors. I just wanted them to have more things to do.
Yeah, I think that I think I'm right there with you. I think everyone in the film is immensely talented. I think you're completely right, though. It feels very much like it's spinning its wheels, and it feels very much like it could have just been an hour, if that.
I mean, I wonder if this is maybe a victim of the writer and director being from a world of comics and being like, okay, well, this is, you know, however many pages worth of a comic story, and we'll just go from there. But it's like, dude, you can take a whole graphic novel and squeeze it into an hour and a half rather than a 80-page comic book.
I mean, it feels very much like an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Obi-Oba.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I genuinely, though, I have no idea what happened at the end of this film. Because Clara gets into an elevator, and the president is there.
Right, because they keep talking about the president.
It feels a little bit like waiting for Godot. Because, like, where's the president? He's coming, right? Like, where is he? And, like, the entire movie, they're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then he never shows up except to one character. And I didn't understand what the purpose of his character was because he says something to her and it didn't translate into subtitles. And the subtitles were on the entire movie except for this one spot. And it seemed like he told her something important and it didn't translate. And I was like, what? So I went back and rewound it a couple times. Nothing. Because she goes into the elevator and he says, you know, like, look, I've been watching you and, I've been keeping my eye on you. We finally meet at last. And then that's it, right?
I think so.
Like, doesn't it feel like there should be more to that scene?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay, it's not just me. Like, I didn't understand. Like, this is kind of the climax of the film. She's going back topside. The bunker is going to be exploded by a drilling robot. And yet, why is the president there anyways? Did you even understand where the president came from?
I think he had been there the whole time, just kind of watching them all. But I'm not even sure.
You know, I mean, we're pretty seasoned film watchers, especially yourself. Like, it just seemed weird to me. Like, even in Obi-Oba, it wasn't that obtuse of an ending. Like, in Obi-Oba, like, there's two ways to look at it. Like, either he did get away, which is not the ending, or he thinks he's going to get away and he's imagining the hot air balloon and he dies out in the cold. In this, it's like, it's literally missing a part that would make the rest of the film make sense. Because she just gets to the surface and there's Trintignant again as just another host. And they drive off. So is she just going to all the bunkers to keep doing this? Or was that the only one in the world? Or
I think it's the only one for France, but I don't know.
How do you feel about this movie? Because, like, just sitting here talking about it, I feel like you're frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you have to say is valid. It's not very well put together. I didn't have a bad time watching it, but I
No.
also didn't sit here and go, oh, that was the greatest movie I've ever seen. It was just like, okay, that just happened. So, which I think is kind of a movie crime when you watch something and it leaves you cold.
I agree.
And that's how this movie left me.
It's one of those things where, like you said, my version of saying that is I'd rather hate or like a movie. I don't want to feel apoplectic about it when I'm done. I don't want to feel, as the kids are saying today, meh.
Yeah.
Like Obi Oba, I genuinely was not a fan of that film. But you know what? At least it had something to say. This film, I was just like, okay. Like you go through all this, you spend all this time and effort setting this scenario up, setting all these characters up, and then ultimately in the end, you don't even stick the landing, and all you had to do was tell us why the president is there, sequestering himself away from everyone. That's all I want to know, is why is he in the elevator? Why is he watching those people? Why hasn't he made his presence known? And the film, either through lack of subtitles or maybe the film as it is, didn't tell us why that's the case. And that, to me, like you said, is a pretty big disappointment. Because if you're going to show us the president at the end of the film, tell me why he's there. Don't just say, I've been watching everyone the whole time. Like, that's fine, but why? You can't, like you said, you can't just go, okay, whatever, the end. Or I guess you can, which is essentially what this film did.
Which is what they do, yeah. It fades to white. She walks over, finds Trintignant in his car, has him as a chauffeur as well, and then they drive off into the sunrise rather than the sunset, perhaps?
And Trintignant doesn't know her because it's a new version of him.
Right.
It's a new robot on the surface.
Exactly.
Because, again, rules don't matter and nobody cares anyways. It is disappointing because, I mean, I was into the movie up until about the last third, and then it just slowly started coming apart because it just stops trying to tell a coherent story. And I haven't seen a whole lot of movies where people are locked in bunkers, so...
Oh, you haven't seen the whole Bunker series?
Bunker series. We're living in the Bunker series right now.
I know.
This is Bunker Palace Hotel.
Yeah.
The countrywide version.
Well, you know, some people would say that we're living in Bad Boy Bubby, where the guy lives in a bunker his whole life and his mother is just like, oh, you can't go outside because the air is poison. And then eventually she dies and he goes outside and he's a complete blithering idiot because he's only had his mother to give him education and she treated him like shit. And he goes out into the world and is just like, what the fuck's going on? Then, like, why aren't people dying in the air that's out here?
Why aren't people just dying in the streets?
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. And people in the podcast future years from now will listen to this and go, huh, that was weird. Weird times indeed. Where would you put Bunker Palace Hotel? We're one movie away from finishing the third Mike White March. We have one more film, A Visitor to a Museum. Where would you put this in the films we've watched so far?
I think this might be the weakest one of the ones that we've watched so far.
Even more so than Secret of Steel City.
Yeah, because Secret of Steel City, at least, it moved a little bit more than this one. And there was like, you know, oh, the subterfuge and the double crosses. I mean, both of them are kind of racing towards the bottom as far as like giving you entertainment. But I think that one had a little bit more to say.
I would agree with you 100%. I think for me, it still goes Dead Man's Letters, then Secret of Steel City, Obi Oba, and then this.
Yeah, I think I liked Obi Oba more than you did.
Yeah, you know, you did. You for sure did. And if you haven't listened to that podcast, go check that one out. It was, you know, I think those 2 podcasts ago was Obi Oba. But you definitely did. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think this is the bottom right now. And here's the thing, like you said before, it's not that bad of a movie.
No.
It just doesn't have anything consequential to say, and it just starts falling apart at the seams, not even under like the weight of its own mythology or its kind of complex narrative. It just starts falling apart at the end because I just don't think they cared enough to actually give the story an ending.
Yeah.
because all of a sudden one character goes insane, starts shooting everyone, and like I understand that he's one of like the separatists or the rebels, but they don't explain a part of the movie that they've been building to the entire time. And for me, like you said, that is a unforgivable choice by the filmmakers. And it's not like the guy who directed the movie didn't write it, because he did.
Right. I mean, I actually am curious as far as, what his comics are like. I might go back and check some of those out if I can find English translations, but yeah, I'm not necessarily rushing out to see Tycho Moon or Immortal now.
No, I'm not either, because I worry that it's going to be the exact same situation where the film just peters out at the end and I go, well, I could have spent an hour and a half doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you give the film out of 5?
I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, B2. I would give it a 2 as well. I think it's perfectly adequate.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think for me, Dead Man's Letters still stands out this month as like doing the most it can with what it's been given.
Right.
Let's take a break, and we will play a preview for the final Culture Cast of Mike White March. That's right, on the final Culture Cast of Mike White March, we're going to be talking about A Visitor to a Museum, and we're going to be joined by my good friend and yours, the co-host of the One Season Show and the upcoming Scary Stories We Tell podcast, Jess Byard. Until then, where can people find you, Mike?
Well, Chris, in case you didn't know, you and I are actually doing another podcast all about Barney Miller.
We did.
The Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller, which is on its 2nd episode, soon to be 3rd.
I did know that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I have to be there for those recordings,
I mean, just forget that I said anything. Yeah, you can hear me on the projection booth, blah, 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 projectionboothpodcast.com.
Oh, get out of here. Mr. Short selling himself. Get out of here. Oh, good Lord. What about Dreams for Sale? We do that together, too. You don't want to mention that? You don't like Twilight Zone 1985 anymore?
It's getting kind of rough to like Twilight Zone 85 after that last episode. Holy cow.
It kind of is, unfortunately. But hey, you know what? You know what they say? Tough times don't stick, but tough people do?
All right.
Something like that? Sure, whatever. Who cares? Nothing matters anymore. Everything's a joke. See, we're laughing.
Yes.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, and as for myself, you can find me here, Chronicles from the Crypt, Twilight Zone 1985, the One Season Show, and our upcoming podcast, debuting April 15th, Scary Stories We Tell.
Formerly Tax Day.
Yeah, formerly Tax Day. My taxes are done. I gotta fucking wait. I need my refund. I need my refund so I can spend it on toilet paper and nothing else, because you can eat toilet paper, so I've been told. If you just close your eyes, if you close your eyes and imagining you're eating a piece of bread, you just swallow it. Just bloop. Oh man, what a fucking weird time to be alive. But Scary Stories We Tell is a new podcast that we are launching. It is coming out April 15th. The cat is now out of the bag. We cannot put it back in there. It is going to be a podcast talking about murder, spooky stories, and a couple things that may or may not have to do with horror. So make sure to check that one out when it goes live April 15th. It's going to be a good podcast. I can tell you that already. We've got some interesting and exciting things planned for it. Culturecast.com is where you can find this podcast. Patreon.com/culturecast is where you can go to kick a couple dollars on down the road to us. If that's a thing you're into, cool. If not, I totally get it. Times is hard, as they would say. Big thanks, as always, to Tiger Blood Jewel for the Bayou and to Mike for programming this month once again.
I feel like I should have brought in more of the funk.
I mean, you are impossibly funky.
Yeah.
So, hey, you know what? We did blaxploitation once, and we watched like one blaxploitation movie. So maybe Mike White March of 2021 will be Mike White March 2 Blaxploitation Boogaloo.
All right, I can take a hint.
You can. Or maybe we'll just do Blaxploitation this year, later in the year. Who knows? We don't even have to do it for Mike White March. Come on now. Make sure to catch us on the next episode.